It is time for another coloring book haul. But before we get into these lovely books, I have a few announcements to share with you. Try not to let the glare on my glasses distract you, because I need my light, and that's what you see on my glasses, the ring light, okay? So don't let it distract you. I have a few announcements. Here they are. The first announcement number 1. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I hit 2,000 subscribers sometime in April. I appreciate you. I've been on this YouTube channel since April of 2023, and I am growing steady, and I thank you for becoming a part of my community, as well as commenting, supporting me, sending your words of encouragement and inspiration. You guys rock. You just don't know. You rock so much. Thank you, and I appreciate you. And that's about it for now. The second announcement number 2. I have merch that I have dropped. You probably have noticed it up under my videos and on my channel. I dropped merch. Finally. I should have had it done last year, but I'm such a procrastinator. But, better late than never. This is one of the shirts that I have on my merch shop. Check it out. It says, "Keep calm." Let me move back some. "And keep coloring." And I have some little pencils here. The reason it took me so long to launch it is because I didn't like this, but I said, I'm going to put it out here anyway, because I've gotten some compliments on these shirts anyway. So why not put it out here? My shop has launched. I encourage you to check it out and let me know what you think about it. You're not obligated to buy anything. If you want to buy something from me, I appreciate it. Just do what you can when you can. No pressure at all. If you have any suggestions or recommendations for t-shirt messages or slogans or whatever, let me know and I will try to make that happen, okay? The third announcement I have is that I have started a newsletter. A newsletter that's all about adult coloring, and I mix in wellness and self-care. I am a health coach, so I'm all about wellness, and adult coloring really does help with our mental health and to manage stress. And we all know that too much stress can mess us up. And we want to manage that as best we can. And coloring is one of those ways that we manage our stress. So I have my newsletter. It's ready for people to sign up. If you want to sign up, I have the link in the description box for you to join my newsletter. You never have to worry about me bombarding your inbox with emails, because my strategy is to just send you one email a week. But I really don't know how often I'm going to do it. But do know you won't get no more than one email from me a week, if that much, okay? So I have my newsletter ready. I'm so excited because I do love to write and I do love to share wellness and self-care type of stuff with other people. You're going to enjoy it, I promise you. And the fourth announcement is that I will be hosting a giveaway very soon for all of my subscribers and just people who happen to stumble across my video. If you want to know when that's going to occur, keep your eyes and your ears open for the giveaway announcement. And that's all I have. Thank you so much again for rocking with me as long as you have. I appreciate you so much, and I hope that I can continue to make good content that inspires you to get your adult coloring stuff on and popping. Now let's get into these coloring books. Up first, I have a few books that are how-to books. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly so that I can get to the coloring books. I know that's why you're here. If you want to skip through this, feel free to do so. I have the timestamps in the description, as well as I'll put it on the screen here where the coloring books start, okay? First book I have is Learn to Watercolor by Lacey Walker. I purchased this book off of Amazon. What I like about this book is, well, it says watercolor pad sketches, no drawing required. So I like that. This is my type of book. So here is a glimpse of what's inside of here. We have Learn to Watercolor. This is the side where the instructions are. And on this side, this is the watercolor pad that has all of the sketches inside of here. Let's take a look real quick inside of this book. She has 20 step-by-step beginner-friendly lessons. And I need all the beginner-friendly lessons I can get. When you open the book, here is what's in the table of contents. The table of contents, we have our introduction. We have the tools and materials that we need. Of course, watercolor, paper, brushes, tape, other stuff that we need for watercoloring. Watercolor painting techniques. She goes over all the techniques, and then she has color theory and color mixing. And also here we have the paintings. Each painting or sketch is in here, and she talks about in great detail how to do it, okay? And she demonstrates it. Not only that, I noticed that she has QR codes, and I think if we want to see this in action, this is just my guess. I did not check the QR code. If I'm incorrect, then I will let you know on the screen. But there are QR codes here that I think we can click on, and it takes us to a video. Let me see where the QR code is. Here's a QR code here. Color wheel in action. So scan that QR code and it takes you to where you need to go to learn more about the color wheel, which I think is very neat. And not only that, for each of the lessons, I think she has, this is the portrait. Let me go back to here for each lesson. Okay, we have color mixing. She has a QR code here for so we can see it in action, and color mixing in action, the magic of pre-wetting pan paints. Okay, so we have the QR codes, and we can scan that and be taken to, I'm assuming, a video for further demonstration. And these are the simple lessons that we can do that's actually in the watercolor pad. But do know there are QR codes in here, and if we get stuck, we can just click on that and it'll take us to see more instructions. How cool is that? I think it's so cool. And on the right side, we have the watercolor pad, which has all of the sketches in here that go with the 20 step-by-step lessons that she has in this book, which I think is really cool. So the first thing that we will be doing in this book is the brick stuff. And let me tone this light down some so you can see it. So this is the brick layout, and she actually has in here how to do the exercises she has. We have the mountains and oranges. These are different lessons that we can do on this watercolor paper. It's already sketched out for us, and she has the lessons in there step by step, and that is very nice. It's not every day you get a book that has the paper and the sketches to tell you exactly how to do it. That is it for this book, Learn to Watercolor. Up next, I have this book. It is a sketchbook challenge with 100 prompts for daily drawing, and this is by Susan Yates. Let's check out the table of contents, and then I will move right along. Inside of this book, Susan gives you an introduction, how to use this book. She talks about mindset and creativity. She talks about tools and materials, warm-up exercises, 7 days of sketching, sketching prompts, and afterward and next steps. In this book, she has 100 sketching prompts. So take a look at the table of contents. Yeah, she has a lot of information in here. What I like that kind of grabs my attention is that she talks about why a daily sketching habit. Why do you want to even sketch daily? And she talks about what a sketch is and what a habit is. Yeah. And then mindset and creativity. She talks about the process of all of that. So let me give you a quick flip through. She has 100 different sketching prompts in here, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, she talks about the different materials that you can use. You see that here? You just use what you like to use, okay? That's what I'm gathering with this. So, that's it for the Sketchbook Challenge by Susan Yates. The last how-to book I have is this one. This is by Jane Madej, and I do have a coloring book by her. This is How to Journal Like an Artist. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, what was that sketching book about? Is that the same thing? It is not the same thing. You see, what this is about is instead of writing about your day in a journal, you will be doing art every day. Like you would in a journal. You write your journal, you'll do some art in your journal. This is a beginner's guide to keeping a sketch journal. And I know you're saying, well, what's that over there? What was that book? That is just to develop that habit of sketching every day, okay, to get you in the mood to do that. But this is like a journal. Let me give you an example of how I think of it to be. I could be all the way wrong. But let's say one day I went shopping. Let's say I went to Michael's and I wanted to journal my day. I might draw a building, Michael's, and I might draw some of the things that I purchased from Michael's, you know, just to say, okay, this is what I did for that day. Or I could have had my birthday and, hey, what did we do on my birthday? We had cake and ice cream, and I can draw those things. That's what I'm thinking. But that's what I'm thinking the journal is all about. Let me move on in this book here. I really like the way this book looks inside. It's very artsy, and I like it. We're going to check out the table of contents here. She has introduction. She talks about tools and materials, getting in touch with your creative side, color, shading, and composition, drawing your life. So that's what I mean about journaling your life. You do it in art format, which I think is so cool because it gets you to thinking about your day in a different way. Instead of writing it down, you're drawing it. How cool is that? Or using stickers, because she has some stickers in here. Also, she has the sketch journal techniques and tips, and then collage cutouts and practice pages. So here is what's inside of here. She talks the introduction, and I really just like the way this book looks. I really, really do. And she has some really good information in here. The books, both books that I've shared with you, they are similar, but I tend to lean toward this book a little bit more because I think she, goes into a little bit more detail about things. She shares with you the different mediums that you can use and how to use them, which is so cool. I think it's really cool. But I'm not going to show you all that, but I want you to know that, okay? All right. So back here in the back, she has some cutouts that you can do. So let's say maybe I was gardening one day and I can cut out some of these things and put it in the art journal. I might draw something, for that day. I don't know, you know, how it goes. I'm just going off of what I think. You see, very grateful. Some things you can just draw out. You don't have to cut this out, but, you know, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. Journal page step by step. Okay. So I bought this. I did not go into Michael's to get this type of book, but I walked out with it and I'm glad I did. She also shares with you how to draw certain things. Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. Okay. That is it for How to Journal Like an Artist by Jane Madej. Now, coloring books are up next. The first coloring book that I have to share with you is called Mystery Coloring Flowers. I have never had a coloring book like this. This is a coloring book that was gifted to me by Jody Gardens. I will link to her in the description box so you can check her out. But this is a coloring book which you solve the mystery of what type of flower it is. Let's take a look. This is similar to a color by number, but we have letters here. So this is a color by letter book, but they say color by numbers. Same thing. Same thing. And we have a lot of letters here. And I'm going to darken it so you can see it a little bit. But this is how it looks. I know that looks like a lot, but this should be pretty fun to do, especially, you know, when you want to do something, color something, but you don't want to have to think about too much. What I noticed in this book is that over here to the left, it gives you a clue about what this flower is. Right here, it says, "What am I?" But there is also a solutions portion in the back of the book. It tells you what it is. So, you know, if you want to cheat, you can do so, but I don't want to cheat. I'm just showing you that the solutions are in the back of the book here. So number one is a rose, and it's supposed to look like this. That's cool. So these are mystery coloring flowers. Solve the riddle and color by numbers to reveal the picture. We have letters. Here's the color key here and how they're supposed to look back here. Okay. And there are more books like this that you can get. You have mandalas, wild animals, and Japan. How cool is that? Thank you, Jody Gardens, for sending me my first ever coloring book from another person in the community, in the coloring community. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The next coloring book that I have is by a fellow YouTuber. I discovered her here on YouTube. She's an artist and illustrator. She is, I think, from India. I'm not exactly sure if she's from India, but if I'm wrong, I will put it up on the screen. But this is a book that I ordered from the British bookshop. You know, I must have wanted this book, and I wanted to support her as well. She is a phenomenal colorist and artist. I love her work. But this is Floramania. I did not want to order the regular book from Amazon because, well, it's on Amazon paper. And I want to be able to use wet medium if I want to. And that's why I got this book. I love her cover. It has premium quality paper. Let's take a look inside right quick. I'm going to do quick flips of the coloring books here. She has a flip through on her channel, and I will link to her in the description box. This is her Floramania, a mania coloring book. Mania means it's a lot of flowers. It's all about the flowers. She has a store on Amazon. Her name is Ravina Baskara. I think that's how you say it. And she has other coloring books that she's published. Let's take a look in here right quick. The paper, can you hear that? This paper is very good. It's pretty heavy. It's not like ultra cardstock, but it's heavy. It's good stuff. I like that. So this is the color palette page. You can choose what you want to use as far as your colors are concerned. So let's take a quick look through here. One of the things that I noticed about this book is that a lot of her pages, not all of them, but some of them run off the page. And I don't know if she intentionally did that or she needs to resize the illustration. I don't know, but it's odd to me that a lot of the illustrations run off the page. I don't know if that's what she intended to do, but, you know, if she intended to do it, that's fine with me. But if she did not intend to do it, maybe you need to go in there and to resize it to get it to stay on the page. See, this runs off the page here, and I don't know if she intended to do that. But this is the beautiful coloring book. I do like it, and I cannot wait to start coloring in it. I wanted to use some of my watercolor pencils. I have some ink tints that I've purchased, and I saw Ravina use some ink tints in this coloring book, and I said I want to use mine in there, and so that's why I bought this book. You see how it runs off the page? But other than that, I think this is a beautiful book. She is a phenomenal artist. I like her work, and check her channel out. She colors beautifully. I love to see her color. Yeah, you see how that goes into there and runs off. Yeah. So let me just go through pretty quickly. This is also on Amazon, but I think it's just the regular soft paperback. This is a hardcover book, and the paper is higher quality. You see this, how it runs off the page? Yeah, I need to know, is this supposed to be like this? Yeah. The other book is on Amazon. It's just on the regular Amazon paper, and I did not want to buy that. See, that runs off here. I don't know if you intended to do that, Ravina. Please let me know if you see this video, okay? I started to send Ravina a message because I do follow her here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, but I said, nah, just let me do the little haul, and maybe she can address it when she sees the video, because I am going to tag her. But, you know, it's beautiful artwork. I think it's beautiful. But she just has a lot of things running off the page. And for this to be a hardcover book, I don't know. I don't know if how well that sits with me, you know. But anyway, the work is beautiful. That is it for Floramania by Ravina. The next coloring book that I have is Vibrant Wilds by Sarah Renee Clark. And I know most of you already have this book and you've probably already seen flip-throughs. I'm going to flip through this very quickly because I actually have filmed a video flip-through of this, okay? So this is Sarah Renee's book. And in my flip-through video that I will put up probably after this video, I talk a little bit more about the coloring book. I'm not going to do that too much in this video. But this is Vibrant Wilds. And I love this part here. It says this book is an art collaboration between Sarah and Evelyn. Then she has all these beautiful flowers around the nameplate here. I like that. The paper is really, really, really good. And she has some information here. I'm not going to get into that because, as I stated, I've already filmed a flip through of this coloring book, and I go into more detail with the coloring book. So let's take a quick look in here. This is your typical Sarah Renee Clark illustrations because I have some of her stickers, and a lot of that looks familiar to me. Yeah. So I do like this coloring book. I like that the book is pretty much has a lot of open space here, so I can practice my blending, shading, or whatever it is that I'm working on without having extra shading and lines that the artist has put. Sometimes I like those types of things and sometimes I don't. But this is okay here. So let's flip through it right quick. You can see what's in here. She has ocean scenes. She has flower scenes. She has people in here, plants. She has a little bit of everything. Leaves, animals, which is a good balance. At least I think it is. And then she has other things. You saw the frames here. Yeah, the paper is A1, so I can use more media if I want to, wet media. So that's it for Clark's Vibrant Wilds. Up next, I have the summer coloring book from Bobby Goods. I have not opened it. For some reason, when she comes out with her coloring books, I always get it. So I have my little collection of Bobby Good coloring books. Ain't no shame in my game. Let's take a look at this book. I have not opened it. I have not looked at it. This is my first time looking in this coloring book. Let's see what's in here. Bobby Goods. And we have a little illustration inside the cover. This is the Bobby Goods coloring book, and let me show you in the back. It says this is the spring, summer 2022. You know what? I thought this was 2025 because I guess it was on back order or something. They sent me an email and they said that the summer and spring book is ready. Maybe what she does is that she pretty much just keeps these, you know, it's the first book she's done. I don't know. I just kind of thought that this was 2025. Anyway, I ordered it. I don't have it. So here we go. Let's take a look in here. Now the paper here is really, a lot of people use markers for this book because the paper is pretty heavy and it's very smooth. But it's not to the point where it's a cardstock heavy, but it's good paper. A lot of people use alcohol markers here. So we have the coloring checklist, art studio, beach day. I guess this is all of the pages that are in here. Yes, that actually is on my little my little pouch that I have that I showed you in one of my completed pages. Yeah, my completed pages video for April. So you have your art studio, and here's the art studio. So this is the table of contents, and it has a list of all the pages that are in here. I personally don't have this book, and I thought that this was new, but I guess it's not really that new. Woo! Sunflowers. We have our little bees. One bee. Well, we have bees. Two bees. So let's take a look through here. I love the art. It's so cute. And I don't mind that it says 2022. I did not even know. I don't have this book anyway, but I do try to collect the books. If I don't have the one that she has out, then I get it. I'm on their email list. And I guess that's why I thought it was a new book, because they sent me an email and they said these are back in stock. And I just assumed that this book was a new book for the summer. But nevertheless, it's okay. It's okay. I don't have this book anyway. I'm good. I'm good. So this is cute. Take a look at the pages. Very cute. I like the paper. And she says, thank you. And that is it. Volume 4. This is Bobby Goods coloring book. The next coloring book that I have is a Japanese coloring book, and I purchased this off of Amazon. This is about a little mouse named Yuri. And Yuri, as you can see, has his sketchbook with him, or her. I don't know if it's a little boy mouse or a girl mouse, but I think it's a boy mouse. I'm not sure. I'll find out and put it up on the screen for you. But this is one that I saw on Amazon and I decided to purchase it. I did take pictures to translate a lot of the stuff in here, and I can't tell you what it says now, but I did translate a lot of the things in here. And this is how the book looks. What this book is broken up into seasons, which I do like. They do give you some pages on how to, not really color it, but it gives you an illustration or a peek at how they would color it, just to give you an idea of how to color the page. This is broken up into seasons. Oh, let me share this with you. They also show you how to do certain things like blending, and they talk about the color stuff here. Even though this is in a different language, you can kind of figure out what they're talking about. But if you really want to know what it says, for me, I just took a picture of it and went to Google Translate and put the actual picture in, and it translated it for me. So here we have pages here. Yuri's in his studio here, which I think is so cute. And then we have the different characters. I can color the character a certain way here and pretty much write down what I used and continue to carry that color scheme for that particular character over into the pages. I think that's pretty good. So this is broken up into seasons. We have our little map here. And we have our first season, which is the spring season, and they have pages that are related to spring. Yuri's getting up. I think that is so adorable. And then Yuri is getting himself some breakfast. And then we have spring pages. The paper is pretty good. It's not heavy, but I think I can do a little watercolor on here if I wanted to. But I have to be very mindful of how much water I add because the paper is not super thick. I like this book. I think it is adorable. One thing I like about this book is that it's not a big book. So it's not a whole lot to try to color. It's little. It's smaller. And we have the summer season. Then we have some pages that reflect summer. And also we have autumn season. You're going to see some Halloween stuff in here, pumpkins, the leaves and things like that. And we have food. And then we have Halloween, like I was telling you. Then we have our winter season, and you're gonna see some holidays in here. Christmas, of course. This says Merry Christmas, and there are items here that you can color. And that is what we have here. I think this is a cute book. And what I noticed in this book is that they have a recipe for, I think this is the recipe here. I think this is pumpkin pie. I'm not really sure. Or is it a cookies? I can't remember. I did take a picture of this to translate it, but I can't remember what it was. I'll put it on the screen for you. I'll go back and look that up. Back here, these are the actual pages that are in the book. Yeah. And that is it. These are other books that are published about different characters. Okay? So that's it for the little Yuri's adventure. The next book that I have is the Forest Girls coloring book, and it is by this person. This, I think, is a Korean coloring book. It says enchanting coloring pages of nature, animals, and cozy scenes for relaxation and stress relief. I bought this book when I was in Michael's. I did not go in there for this book, but this book caught my attention and I had to have it. So here is what's going on in this book. This paper is not as good. It's smooth. It's pretty good, but I don't think I would want to use water-based products in here. I think this is strictly a pencil thing for me. Yeah. It's heavy, but it's not that heavy where I feel comfortable using water-based stuff. Now, I could use alcohol markers, maybe, because this is one-sided. Has a blank page on the back of it. So, yeah. So this is an illustration here. I bought this book because I really like the illustrations. I was drawn to it because I felt a sense of relaxation and calmness when I looked through it. And I can imagine myself coloring in this book. So you have the girl here painting. I think she's probably looking out to see what's there. And that's what she's drawing or painting. The ink on this particular book is not real dark. It's kind of like a light gray. I had to tone the lighting down so you can see the print, because too much light will wash it out because it's not black. But I like these illustrations. I think they are nice. Let me do a quick flip here so you can see what's in here. I am getting into Asian coloring books, so you're going to see quite a few of those come through in future videos because I really do like them. You saw the first one, Yuri, but you also saw the Floramania, and that to me is an Asian coloring book. It's just from a different person from India, but that's all in the Asian area. Yeah. So take a look at these. The only thing I don't like about this book is the paper, but I can work with that. I love the illustrations. I think they are adorable. Yeah. So this is the first book that I have purchased from this illustrator. I love her art. It just makes me want to color it. And it makes me feel like I'm there in the scene. Yeah. Nice. Let's take a look. I'm sure a lot of you probably have already seen this book, but it's new to me. Yeah, I've skipped a few pages. But yeah, that's it for this book by this person. Okay? And this is the Forest Girls coloring book. The next coloring book that I have is also by the same author. I bought this one from Amazon, and this is it. It says Moments Wholly for Yourself. This is the author. It is a coloring book of the forest. And let me take this little cover off here so you can see how it looks here. Okay. Let me see if there's anything on the back. No. But this is the little cover here. It's cute. You see, when I saw the first book that I purchased, I went looking for other books by this author. All right, let's take a look inside. Everything is in, I think, Korean, I believe. And so if I want to translate it, I can. I think there's a translation here. This and this it says the same thing, but this is in the Korean language and this is in English here. And then she has a table of contents. And I didn't even show you if there was a table of contents in the other one. If it is, I'm sorry about not showing it to you. But this is in a different language here. In this book, you get this. I guess what I could do is color these in a way that I would want to color them in the book. And, you know, do my little color scheme here. The paper is a tad bit thicker than the previous book. The paper is very smooth as well. Yeah, very smooth. So she has a picture here on how to maybe color some of these things. She has an example of it. So if you want to, you can follow what she has. Okay. And then same with the girl, how to color the dress and the clothing. She has how to do that here. Just demonstrated different ways to color this dress here. Okay. So that's that. And then we go into the book. And we have on the left hand side, we have a colored version of the illustration here. So if you want to, you can follow her colors and try to produce what she did here. Okay. And I think the paper is pretty good. It's kind of thick. I would not feel uncomfortable using water-based products on here. I think this is a lovely book. Again, that's why I got it. I think it's very nice. And again, it just looks so relaxing and calming. And it's something that I wouldn't mind coloring. You see there. Ooh, sunflowers. I love sunflowers. Let me kind of go to the back here. Here are more books by the same author. Don't you just like the wallpaper here of flowers? Okay, so in the back here, I'm not going to spoil it. Well, let me just tell you. Back here, this paper here is really heavy. Like, you could actually get away with using watercolor because it's pretty thick. Okay? So she gives you a couple of extra pages that have really good paper, and I like that. So let's take a look here right quick. Balloons, and she has how to color it here. I really do like that she has how it should look, because it kind of will help me, not kind of, it does help to kind of look at something to kind of reproduce it, you know, when you're coloring. It helps with the little, you know, techniques that you're learning. Okay. So check it out. She's in the kitchen. Okay. Let's flip through here right quick. So on each page, on the back of the page is a colored illustration. Okay. So you really don't have to worry about messing up this, but if you want to preserve that, you know, you can. Of course, if you know how to protect your page from getting messed up, if you want to use whatever media that could probably mess the page up, you can protect it with some glaze. Isn't that cute? That is adorable. She's thinking about all kind of things. Donuts. I see a donut there. Okay. Isn't this just relaxing? All right. Let me just stop talking and flip through really quickly. I know some of you probably have seen this book before. I do like the illustrations. When I like something from an artist, I want to get more of their work. Yeah. So here we go. Isn't that cute? That little dog reminds me of Snoopy on Charlie Brown. Yeah. She's just chilling. I really do like the illustrations. Look at that. That looks so relaxing. That's cute. Yeah, very nice. Sometimes too, I pay attention to the reviews, but sometimes I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and get it because I like what I see. That is so cute. Okay, so that is it for this book by the same author here. This is Moments Wholly for Yourself, a calming coloring book here. Let me show you the title here. I will link to everything that I've shared with you in this video. A coloring book of the forest. The next book I have is also by the same artist. You know, I told you if I really like something, I'm going to get more from that artist. This is by Aeeopl. I think that's the author's name, and you can see, well, I guess that's it, but I don't see it here. Yeah, it's the same. It's by the same person. Yeah. This is Forest Girls Coloring Book Premium Edition. And this is, as I said, premium edition. Why is it premium edition? Well, number one is hardback, but number two, the paper is very good. You can use watercolor if you like. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that is the case. Here we have the language here that I can't read, but then there's English here. And here is why I think this is a book for watercolor. She has a watercolor palette and tubes of watercolor here, watercolor brushes. And I think it says here a color chip of my own. So you can put your colors in here that you're going to be using for the coloring book, I guess. And also this could be your color. It says setting paint dilutions. Okay, so that means that I can use watercolor here. So I can put what I'm going to use here and how I would dilute it, that color. So this is a watercolor coloring book. The paper is pretty heavy, pretty thick, and I definitely will feel comfortable using watercolor in this book. So here we go. She has some other little elements to color. You can kind of color the dog the way you want the dog to be, color her the way you want her to be. All of this is in a different language, but what it says practicing small cuts. Yeah. So you can practice coloring what is actually in this book, and you can give it the colors that you want, and also take note of what colors you use so that when you do get to the page that has these cuts or elements on there, you can use that specific color. So here we go. The paper is amazing. And again, she has a picture over here to the left hand side of the blank illustration that you can follow if you want to. She does have this in English here, and it says here, this is the author, and it says Pretty Things from the Forest 2018. I believe these are, of course, some of her illustrations that she chose to put in the book on this very, very good paper. So here we go. I'm just going to go to the back and flip to show you what's in here. Good paper, good paper. We have a Christmas tree. She has it painted. So if you want to, you can color it that way. Another Christmas tree, Christmas scene here. Very nice. And I'm just going to go through here fairly quickly. Another very peaceful looking illustration. All of these just are peaceful to me. And look at that. She just kicked back, laid back, relaxing. Okay. That's nice. The paper is good. And the reason I bought this is because, of course, I like the illustrations, but I also want to be able to play around with water-based media or watercolor. Anything that's water. I want to try my hand at it in this book and not be afraid to do it because of the paper. The paper is excellent. That is cute. Very cute. Okay. I think some of these illustrations might be in the other books that I showed you. But this is the better paper. She's in the kitchen. Yeah, this is the better paper. Higher quality paper. And I see that is the case. She said edition. What type of edition is this? This is the premium edition. So this paper is very, very good. Yeah. Look at that. That's cute. Okay, I'm just about finished with the pages here. But I like it. I have my fix of this author, and I have plenty of her illustrations to dive into. And this is the premium edition of this book, which is the Forest Girls coloring book. Up next, I have 3 coloring books from Steve McDonald. I have his whole collection. I ordered these from Amazon, but one of them came all the way from Seattle, Washington. The book only cost $6, so I didn't mind waiting for it to come. The first book that I have is the Fantastic Coloring Book. This is by Steve McDonald. All 3 of these books are by him. I am not going to flip through here like I did the other ones. This is an older book. I bought these books because to me they're more meditative for me, and I can get away with using other types of media besides colored pencils. The paper is okay for that. So I would probably use water-based stuff if I want to. But yeah, this is what's in here. You're going to see that in the other coloring books that there are a lot of duplicate pages. These pages are front and back. The illustrations are on front and back. But nevertheless, these are pages that I think give me a mandala type of feel. Look at that. The sunglasses. Do y'all remember these cassette tapes? Yes, I remember having these tapes and trying to listen to the radio to catch my song so I could record it. Those were the days. It has a lot of things that repeat, and I'm okay with that because to me, I'm looking at this book as like a practice book, just a book that I don't have to worry about how to color anything, just a book where I don't have to think about stuff. I can just color. So that's what this book is, the Fantastic Coloring. He has a lot of repetitive things on the pages, and I'm okay with that. I knew what I was getting when I was ordering these books. I do like the paper, and I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so that's this book here. The next book that I have from Steve McDonald is the Fantastic Collections. And a lot of things that are in this book you will see in the previous book that I showed you. One of the things you need to know also is that this is a bigger book. It's much bigger than the book that I shared with you. As you can see, this is the Fantastic Coloring, and this is the other book. These next 2 books are much bigger than this little book here. Okay, so let's check out the Fantastic Collections. A lot of things that are in here are also in that Fantastic Coloring book. This is just a bigger page of coloring to do. Okay, we have front and back illustrations that gives me the mandala feel. And again, I purchased these books for the meditative purpose of coloring, not, for me to like really complete a page. It's for me to practice and do mindless coloring so I don't have to think about it. We have frames on the wall. We have guitars, those cassette tapes again that I was telling you about. You see the butterflies again, another mandala type of situation. Looks like butterflies here. More stuff that you can color that's repetitive. Yep. So the paper is pretty good. I feel confident using whatever medium I want to use. But what I want to show you are the cell phones. Look at this. I've had almost every type of these cell phones. I know this phone right here was the first type of phone I ever owned. It was in a bag, and you took the phone with you in the car, and this was my first phone. Then I ventured over to having a flip phone. I don't think I ever had a phone that looked like that. And I don't think I see any smartphone looking gadgets here. I like this page. Yeah, so we have the musical instruments, the horns here. Practice coloring what brass to make it look like it's metal or whatever. So that's this, a lot of repetitive stuff. You see the typewriters. Actually, I think I have worked on some of these typewriters. This was the type of typewriter I think that we had in high school because I took typing. And then when I got into college, I had an electric typewriter. Yes, I did. An electric typewriter with a correction tape. Let me see if I see it on here. It actually looks like this one. Kind of, sort of. But it was more portable. It was in its own little case. It wasn't small, but it wasn't big either. So I like this page because it brings back a lot of memories of those days of using a typewriter. How many of you can relate? All right, so we have some more repetitive things to color, which is okay with me because I didn't get this coloring book for anything more than to just color when I want to color something that I don't have to think about. Look at all these different types of remote controls. I think some of you can relate to some of these as well. We have a mandala type of situation, our TVs, and I think I've had a few of these TVs here. We don't see the flat screen. That lets you know how old this coloring book is. All right, so that is it for this one. We have balloons. This is the Fantastic Collections, and then the last one is Fantastic Structures. I have one about the cities that I shared with you in my last haul, I believe. I think I shared that in the last haul. And here we have the structures. Yeah, structures. And again, this gives me the mandala feel, and you can just get lost in coloring the page the way you want to color it. It's a form of relaxation and calmness. Something I can reach for when I don't want to think about coloring something that needs my attention. So here we go. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, but these are different building structures. This is a library. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of books. But we have different structures here. Yeah. I know this might not be anybody's cup of tea, but I like this, and I can see myself coloring it just to color and to just relax. Okay, so that is the Fantastic Structures by Steve McDonald. I have all three. I think this is the one that came from Washington. It only cost me $6 and some change. The next coloring book that I have is the number 2, Too Cute. This is by Sugar Sweet. And I follow him here on YouTube, and I was curious about his coloring book. I actually didn't know he had a coloring book. He has more than one. So let's take a quick look in here. This is a book I ordered from Amazon. It's on Amazon paper. I figure that if I really want to do some things, I can just print it off on better paper. It's not a big deal. But the paper is Amazon paper. But the illustrations are cute. He has two different types of illustrations on one page that you can just color. You don't have to worry about a whole big old page with a lot of stuff on here. And I think the illustrations are cute. Yes, very cute. This is another one of those types of books where I would just practice different techniques and not really worry about trying to make something look a certain way. But it's really cute. Not a lot of stuff on the page, so you don't have to worry about being so involved with the illustration. Yeah. Sugar Sweet has some more coloring books on Amazon. This is just the one that I chose to get. And I think it's cute. Look at the taco. The little kitten. I guess that's a little kitten with the taco and the drink. The desserts. See, I could practice coloring different things. And then we have this. He's talking about C. Harold Smith, 1958. And Crayola. It's Crayola, that's what it's about. These are all of Sugar Sweet's books here. And he has a color chart, or I guess swatch page that you can use here in the back. And that is it for, look at that. That is too cute. Okay, so cute. What does he say on the back? Sometimes we enjoy diving into detailed coloring extravaganza, while other times we just want a quick coloring session. This book is perfect for those moments. Each page features 2 small pictures that can be completed in a short amount of time. Simply sit back, grab your favorite colors, relax, and start coloring. Okay, so this is Sugar Sweet. The next book that I have is a Creative Haven coloring book, and this is The Art of Mushrooms. I purchased this book from Hobby Lobby, and it cost $4.79. I bought this book because of Ivy Pearl CleverSwirl. She gave me the idea to buy this book because in one of her live streams, she did a haul and she had purchased this book, and she said she purchased it to practice coloring mushrooms. And I said, I need to do that because I don't have a clue about how to color mushrooms. So I decided to get the book. And this is the Art of Mushrooms book. And it is by Hannah. And that's the name right there. Okay? My daughter's name is Hannah. And it's spelled exactly like her name. So cool. Let's take a look inside of here. It has how many pages? Usually there's 40. I don't know. 20. But it says, enjoy coloring that's perfect for every fungi and fungal. Okay. 31 pages, illustrations in here. So let's take a quick look at what's in here. We have an example of a page here. We have some mushrooms around flowers. So take a look at this. This is a practice book for me. Probably won't ever see the light of day to anyone else, but it's just a book for me to kind of practice my mushroom coloring. And it has a lot of different types of mushrooms in here, which is good. Look at those. So I'll brush up on mushroom coloring skills. I did not really know a book like this existed. So thank you, Ivy Pearl, for sharing this book with us. I appreciate it. Because I don't know how to color mushrooms. I'm just going to keep it 100, as they say. Okay, so that's it for the Creative Haven the Art of Mushrooms coloring book. The next coloring book that I have is a Johanna Basford coloring book, Lost Ocean Artist Edition. I learned about this coloring book from J.I. Coloring. She did a demonstration of some acrylic paint that she was sharing with us on her YouTube channel, and I decided that I wanted to get this book. I liked how J.I. colored her page, and I just like this book. So let's take a look inside. Of course, I think a lot of these illustrations are from the regular book, Lost Ocean. And I forget how many illustrations are in here. 24 drawings to color and frame. So these can be framed. So here they are, right here. Paper is thick cardstock, very thick. So you can use whatever medium you want to use, actually. So we have this page. I believe this is a sewn book, but of course, if I'm doing it to frame something, I'm going to cut it out. Here's that. Very thick. This is cardstock. Most definitely cardstock. I can't remember how much I paid for this. I will link to everything again. I've already mentioned that, but I'll link to everything in the description box and you can check it out. This I ordered from Amazon. I'm going to show you the page that J.I. Coloring did her demonstration on. She did a beautiful job. It was so pretty that I had to run over to Amazon and save this and come back and order it later. That's how beautiful her finished picture was to me. So this is this. If you have Lost Oceans coloring book by Johanna Basford, you probably recognize a lot of these illustrations in this book. And eventually I'm going to get to J.I.'s picture. I believe it was this one. This is the whale, and she did a beautiful job on it. She used acrylic paint on the background. She had some stencils she used in the water, for the water. It was just a beautiful, well done illustration that J.I. did. And yeah, so this is what she colored in her video. And then we have some more illustrations, heavy cardstock. We have another fish here. Yeah, so that's it for Johanna Basford's Lost Ocean Artist Edition. Up next, I have two coloring books from Johanna Basford, Magical Worlds. These were on sale when I purchased them. They were like $8 and some change, and so I picked up two of them. One I bought for myself, an extra copy, so that I can play around with other medium, and the other copy that I have already, I'll just use colored pencils in there. But this one is for watercolor. And then I bought a second one so that I can do a giveaway. And that's what these are for. Now I'm sure everybody knows what's in here. I do have a video on my channel where I did a flip through of this, and I'll link to it up in the cards, as well as in the description. But this is the book, Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. I have two copies, one for myself and one for one of you when I do my giveaway. Up next, I have Mythographic Rainbow Realms. I actually bought two of these. I bought two of these, one for myself, an extra copy, and one for a giveaway. But I have come to realize that I don't like this book as much as I thought I liked it. So these two will be for giveaways, okay? But this is the Mythographic Rainbow Realms by Veronica Kolinska. And I'm going to just flip through it fairly quickly. I think I did a flip through of this book in my last haul that I did. But this is okay, you know. But when I flip through it and I look through it, there's only maybe one or two pages that jump out at me. The rest of the pages are just, I don't really see myself wanting to color them. But I did buy these two books when they were on sale. I think they were like $8 and something. And I snagged two of them. So these both are in my giveaway that I'll be having pretty soon. All right. So that is Mythographic Rainbow Realms. I am finally at the end of my haul. This is Dark Fairy Tales by Kirby Rosanes. I had no intentions of purchasing his book because I'm not someone who likes to color dark things in coloring books. But what got me is when I saw a couple of people coloring in the book and how the illustrations were so amazing. And that's how I ended up getting not one copy of Dark Fairy Tales, but two copies. I really like the illustrations in here. I think it is probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably my favorite book from Kirby, even though it's dark. It has dark images. Because the art is so amazing to me. And I get lost in it. It's just amazing. And then when I saw some people do watercolor on the illustrations and how beautiful it looked, I had to have this book. Yes, I had to have it. I bought two copies because I wanted to include one in a giveaway. That's the only reason I bought two. Well, let me back up. I'm lying. I bought two because I really like this book. And I wanted to have two copies so that I can use different medium in each of them. Like let one of them be for colored pencils and pens, and let the other one be strictly watercolor pencils, things like that. And so yeah, that's really why I bought both of them. I don't know if anybody would want to win one of these books, but I started thinking that maybe I would do a giveaway of one of these books. But then when I first bought two copies, I was not thinking about doing it as a giveaway. So I'll think about it when it comes to giveaway. But I really bought it so that I could experiment with coloring the pages a different way in each of the books that I have. But yeah, I really think this is amazing art, and I bought it. I'm not a person who colors dark things too often, but what sold me, you see this illustration here? I saw a person actually, I think she was doing watercolor, and it was in a YouTube short. And I was looking, I said, wow, that is an amazing illustration. And I didn't see the two guys on the edge until she got to the part where she was coloring. I said, whoa, I didn't know that these two people were here. And she did a beautiful job. I think it was a short, but she also had a long form video where a long form video where it was just amazing what she did. Very beautiful. So, you know, I had to have the book. Yeah, so that's it for Dark Fairy Tales. Those are all the books that I bought around the end of March and in April. And I do have a few more books coming. They are mostly Asian coloring books. And I have Melpomene books is coming. I actually ordered 2 copies of Melpomene's book. And it's taking so long for it to get here. It's back ordered. So I don't know when I'll be getting that book. But as soon as I get my Japanese and Korean coloring books, I think it's a mixture of Asian coloring books. I will do another haul as soon as I get those. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. And if you want to know about any of these coloring books, I will link to them in the description box and you can go and check that out. Do know that if you see an Amazon link, I am an Amazon associate, which means that when you order anything through those links, I earn a small commission. That is one way that you can support me if you so desire. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below. Until next time, keep calm and keep coloring. Bye.